In Niger, flooding rises. Unvarranted British Prime Minister unveils defense spending plans, once of ignoring Russia's threats. And in sports, Nigeria clinches bronze medal at African Sambo tournament. And now the details. I am Mike James. Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Health Service Commission Ademuyiwa Eniayewu has urged medical directors and CEOs of general hospitals to prioritize rational decision-making over emotional impulses when managing hospital affairs. Speaking at the General Hospital Ijede during a visitation by the Commission's Hospital Transformation Support Initiative HTSI team, Eniayewu emphasized that emotional decisions lead to biased and unpopular outcomes, which often run contrary to patients' needs and hinder crucial revenue generation. During the tours of general hospitals Ijede and Ikorodu, the permanent secretary offered guidance on optimizing the utilization and allocation of new structures under construction to enhance patients' needs and service delivery. Eniayewu also advised the hospital leadership to invest wisely for optimal returns and to identify technically minded personnel within the facilities. These individuals, he suggested, should form a think tank capable of compiling a reservoir of identified needs that MDs can readily access when philanthropists, corporate organizations, or benevolent individuals offer assistance. At the General Hospital, Shomolu, the permanent secretary called for better seating arrangements to alleviate patient overcrowding. Also at the Infectious Disease Hospital Mainland, Eniayewu encouraged all hospital management committees to consistently reach out to friends of the hospital and other well-meaning individuals for support to augment government efforts. He further urged all hospital workers to prioritize patient care above all else, highlighting that patients are the source of revenue and a fundamental reason for their employment and salaries. Lagos State Commissioner for Tourism, Art and Culture, Toket Benton Awoyinka, says work is currently ongoing on the restoration of 30 monuments located in different parts of the state by the Monuments Management Department of the Ministry. Benton Awoyinka, who stated this during the just concluded ministerial press briefing at Alausa Ikeja, said 11 of these monuments have already been completed, while others that are at various stages of completion will boost the state's cultural preservation and infrastructure revitalization drive upon completion. The commissioner described the Heritage Initiative as a bold step by the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration to protect and celebrate the rich cultural history of Lagos and preserve its collective memory. The commissioner reiterated that both the Heritage Monument and the Creative Infrastructure Project are rooted in the state government's commitment to cultural preservation, education, and tourism promotion. The federal government has announced plans to deliver 77,400 social housing units across Nigeria and launch new renewed hope cities in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano in a move to tackle the country's housing deficit. Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development Yusuf Atta, who announced this, said the primary mandate of the ministry is to provide mass housing for Nigerians and welcome potential collaboration. Atta reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to solving housing challenges through major investment and partnerships. He explained that under the Renewed Hope agenda, 3,000 housing units each will be constructed in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano for Renewed Hope cities and 250 housing units in each of the 36 states for the estates. Atta noted that a significant portion of the new homes will be dedicated to vulnerable Nigerians. And now to the rest of the stories. Several states have commenced measures to arrest flooding, with Nasarawa Anambra, Borno, Kebbi, and Bayelsa government planning to evacuate residents to prevent loss of lives and property. The federal government announced in April that no fewer than 1,249 communities in 176 local governments across 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory would witness heavy flooding between April and November 2025. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Yusef, had in April identified high flood risk states as Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Gombe, Imo, and Jigawa. Other states are Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and the FCT. The minister raised concerns that flooding remains one of the devastating natural disasters in Nigeria, with climate change accelerating its frequency and severity. He also predicted that coastal and riverine areas such as Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, and Ondo would experience flooding due to the rise in sea level and tidal surge, and this would impact fishing, wildlife habitation, and river navigation. Meanwhile, residents of Mokwa local government area in Niger State have expressed fears of a disease outbreak as 2 more bodies were recovered beneath one of the bridges swept away by the devastating flood that hit the local government, bringing the total death toll to 153. The Mokwa flood has receded, but residents who are still searching for missing persons lamented the stench of decaying corpse, which he sparked fears of a disease outbreak. The federal government says it is working to reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported healthcare products. It says the current administration is also working to curb the number of Nigerians seeking medical treatment abroad and to create jobs in the health sector. National coordinator of the Presidential Unlocking Healthcare Value Chain Initiative, Abdul Mukhtar, who was represented by Nasir Ahmed at the launch of the Impact Healthcare Initiative, said one of the initiative's major milestones was the signing of a presidential executive order in July 2024. He said the order eliminates value-added tax on raw materials and medical equipment manufacturing supplies, a move aimed at reducing local production costs and attracting private sector investment. The initiative established by the president is designed to drive medical industrialization and unlock the full potential of Nigeria's healthcare value chain. And now to foreign news. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the UK military is moving to war-fighting readiness as he unveils the government's defence spending plans. Speaking in Glasgow, he also says the government will innovate and accelerate innovation at the wartime pace. Earlier, Starmer said the UK must prepare for conflict in order to deter conflict, stressing that the threat from Russia cannot be ignored. Starmer declined to set a precise date for when UK defence spending would hit 3% of gross domestic products, GDP, saying he does not believe in performative fantasy policies. The UK has already committed to increasing defence spending from 2.5% of GDP by 2027, but there are already debates if it will be enough for United States President Donald Trump and NATO. And over to sports news. Nigeria secured a podium finish at the 19th African Sambo Championships held in Conakry, Guinea, thanks to the impressive performance of its sole representative, Ramon Kayode. The 3-day tournament, which ran from May 24 to 26, featured athletes from 19 countries. Competitions were held across the 3 categories: Sport Sambo, Combat Sambo, and Beach Sambo. Representing Nigeria in the men's 64 Sport Sambo event, Kayode delivered a commendable performance, earning a bronze medal. The gold medal went to Morocco's Fani Rabi, while Algeria's Abdarouf Gouabar claimed silver. Kayode shared the bronze podium with Cameroon's Myong Ondoa. And that was our news at 12. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs. It's live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. And you can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated the Lagos State Employability Support Project to address the labor skill gap and unemployment problems? Well, you can get more details. It's on the Legacy Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Health Service Commission, Ademuyiwa Eniayewu, has urged medical directors and CEOs of general hospitals to prioritize rational decision-making over emotional impulses when managing hospital affairs. Several states have commenced measures to arrest flooding, with Nasarawa, Anambra, Borno, Kebbi and Bayelsa government planning to evacuate residents to prevent loss of lives and property. Meanwhile, residents of Mokwa local government area in Niger State have expressed fears of a disease outbreak as the total death toll from the devastating flood that hit the local government has risen to 153. We also told you that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK military is moving to war-fighting readiness as he unveils the government's defence spending plans. In sports, Nigeria secured a podium finish at the 19th African Sambo Championships held in Conakry, Guinea, thanks to the impressive performance of its sole representative, Ramon Kayode. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast. It was compiled by Adesua Ejoyoka. Thank you for listening, Lagos. My name is Mike James. Beautiful afternoon to you.